Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Big DIY. I'm your host, Andrew, and on today's episode, we're going to do Painting 101. We're going to go over some of the special techniques that I suggest you use to paint your walls. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Alright, so today's episode, Painting 101. What are the tools that I'm going to need to do painting around my home, job, whatever it is that you're painting? That's what we're going to go over first. Obviously, depending on the height of your ceiling, you're going to need a ladder. Today we got a 6-foot ladder here, fiberglass, rated for my weight. Again, it's on a level surface, and it's rated for my weight. And I say that because there are ladders that are rated for certain weights. It says it on the side of the ladder what your weight should be for that ladder. We've made sure that that ladder will hold my weight. For those that know me, I'm a big guy, so I make sure that this is happening. Next, we got our roller. It's a 9-inch roller. It's got a 3/8 snap to it, and that is the thickness of the roller cushion. That makes it the nap, N-A-P, nap, like you're gonna take a nap. Now, for what we're doing today on a flat, regular wall, a 3/8 snap is perfect. If it was a textured wall, we may want to go with something that is a little bit thicker. If it was concrete or a thicker paint that we were going to be using, we would want to use something thicker as well. We also have a retractable pole. We have our pan with a liner in it. People, I cannot stress to you enough, get a liner for your pan. Cleanup is a cinch when you are done painting. Next, we got our paint. We have a lot to paint in this building, so we went with a 5-gallon, and it is very low with the smell or anything like that. It's from Sherwin-Williams. It's their Promar 200. It's a flat white base. We've had tinted to our color, which is alluring white, and again, it's a 5-gallon bucket. Now we have our brush. Now this is a 2.5-inch Purdy XL stiff angled brush. This is what I use to cut everything. This is a great cutting brush, especially with the angle, which I'll show you later when we start to cut. You'll see the angle just makes it go nicer. We have a 2.5 and a 1.5. The reason I keep the 1.5 is sometimes if I gotta go into a tight space, this will work perfect. Next, we have our handy paint cup. Now, I did not purchase liners for these. They do sell liners. I just never did for this one. If I ever get a new one, I will put liners in it. It's got a little magnet inside. It helps to hold your paintbrush on so that you don't have to worry about it falling off the edge. Cute little handle, hooks onto the ladder, holds to your hand very great. This is what we're going to use to put our paint in for cutting. All right, so let's start painting. All right, so we don't need the 1.5-inch brush right now. We'll leave it over here. We got our handy paint cup. We're going to set that down on the floor on a level surface. I was telling you before, there's a magnet on this cup right here. See, look at that. Your brush will sit there. A lot of times when you put your brush like this, if you tap the ladder or whatever it is, your brush is going to fall off. So by doing, and also, if your brush is out of the paint too long, it's going to start to harden. So by doing this, it's sitting in the paint, stays nice and wet, doesn't harden, and we know it's safe. Now, we got this paint delivered the other day, so I took a moment to shake the can up a little bit, just because it's not a 1-gallon, we don't have a stirrer. 5-gallon cans, you kind of got to shake them a little bit. When you do open a 5-gallon can, there's a little tab here. You're going to pull that tab towards you. The reason you do that is because there's sometimes when you do this, you'll get a little couple of drops of paint that'll shoot out onto your drop cloth here. You don't want that to shoot on you. So we just give it a little pull, nice and gentle. We didn't get any spray. Wipe off the excess a little bit right there. We'll keep that in the corner of our drop cloth. Now we're going to fill up our cup. Now, you could hold the can and then put the can back. The problem is you get it run down the side. So what I like to do is try to keep my cup on the floor. One hand holding this. I try to get what I think I need in my cup. Let the excess trail off a little bit. Take my brush, collect the excess. Take my brush, collect the excess. Take my brush, collect the excess. Then we wipe the excess off the top, scrape it off in the hole here. And what didn't we get? We didn't get that big line running down the side of your bucket. That's just the way I like to do it, okay? So, we're gonna set that there. We're gonna take our painter's cup, full of paint, set it up on top of the ladder, move on to the next step. All right, so we got our paint in our bucket here. We use the magnet. We're gonna wipe off the excess. You wanna make sure your brush is nice and wet with paint, not water, paint, before you do this. I'm gonna put about an inch of paint, wipe off the backside. Now, where the ceiling meets the wall right here, we want to get the paint obviously on the wall, not on the ceiling, on the wall, not on the ceiling. So this is where an angled brush comes in to help. As you can see, we're getting the paint on the wall, not on the ceiling. Now, this is what's going to take you the most time. Cutting is going to take you the most time. So we're going to do, just to speed this up a little bit, is we're going to have you guys watch us from behind in a little bit of a time lapse. Enjoy. So we have cut the bottom, we touched up our spots that we did some spackling, and we've cut the top. Now, if this was a inside corner wall, similar to that, we would have cut the edges there as well, but this is not, it's an outside corner. We only need to paint this one wall. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna get our roller pan full of paint, and we are going to roll that wall out. So, first steps first. We need to get that paint in that paint can. That's what we're going to go over now. Okay, so for this, we're going to take our paint can here, and we need our paintbrush. And this isn't much different than what we did to fill our handy cup. So, take the roller out. We have our liner in our pan. Gonna put that in there. Make sure it's clean. It is clean. There's no dust and debris in there. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pour our paint in. That's about good. Wipe off the excess paint. Clean the top. And we're going to move our paint can over here, still staying on the drop cloth. Now, wipe our brush off. We'll put that back in our handy cup. Now, we filled our paint can. There's a well on the end. We filled the well completely until the paint came about halfway up the pan. Okay, that's enough for me to do what I need to do for these few walls. If you were doing a smaller job, you wouldn't need so much. If you were doing a bigger job, well, you're gonna have to refill this a few times. All right, the next step is we're gonna take our roller, make sure the roller cover's on all the way, it spins, and we are going to soak it with paint. We're not gonna paint the wall yet. We're going to roll some paint right here in this paint can. make sure that that cushion, that nap, is soaked in paint, which it is. So now we are ready to put it up on the wall. Okay, so we're going to take our pole, put it on. Now, depending on the height of these ceilings, you may need the pole, you may not. These are standard 8-foot ceiling, so I don't really need it, but for demonstration, I'm going to use it. So we want to make sure there's no drips, okay? We're going to put mild pressure onto the wall. We're not pushing hard. We're letting the roller do its job. It's doing the work for us. Rolling back and forth, overlapping what we just did. We need some more paint. So we're gonna roll it in the paint, get some more paint, check for the drips, and we're gonna continue overlapping our joints of paint, making sure that we cover the wall completely. We don't want to go too fast because fast rolling gives us splatters. Also, what gives us splatters is cheap paint. So unless you don't care about where you're working, spend a couple extra dollars, get yourself a good paint. My favorite paint is actually Benjamin Moore. I think they make one of the best quality paints out there on the market. It's a nice thick paint. It's a quality paint. Every time I can afford to paint with it, I do. It's just that the customer here has an account with Sherwin-Williams, so they went with Sherwin-Williams paint. Now people say, Andrew, why are you rolling over what you just did? Well, sometimes, depending on the pressure you put on, you'll get a ridge, which is an excess line of paint that shows up. So what I do is push no pressure whatsoever and just roll it up and down the wall to make sure it's a nice even coat. So we are going to continue this all the way out to the other corner, and then we're going to go into the top half of the wall. Now, one of the benefits about having that painter's tape on that base molding is I'm able to roll down all the way to touching the tape. So I get nice coverage over where I brushed, always overlapping, making sure that everything paint-wise blends in. Brushing, rolling, everything alike. Everything will blend in. Just gonna roll the corner here. No pressure at all. Just go back over what I just did. Nice even coverage. And the bottom half of our wall is done. Now I'll come and get you so you can get a closer look. So, I don't know how much you can see here besides a blank wall, but we have nice even coverage. There's where we have to still paint the top going up to the ceiling. We have nice even coverage all the way down to the base moldings. And it looks good. So now we're gonna get ready to paint the top.